Hi everybody, my name's Bob Saunders and I'd like to talk to you today about the return of the Christ Spirit. Now, I would imagine as I talk about this, I'm going to upset quite a lot of Christians because what I'm going to tell you will not coincide with what's been said in the Bible and what people preach about Jesus coming back. But I'm sorry, I don't wish to offend anybody. I just will tell you what I've been told and you believe it or not. Okay? Now, before you can understand what I'm going to say here, I would suggest that you need to watch the video that I made, actually in my time, it was just yesterday, about the 12 strands of DNA. Because if you don't watch that video and understand what I said there about the signs of the Zodiac and stuff, you won't understand what I'm going to say now. So I would suggest, if I may, that you please stop this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that you please stop this video now, have a look at that video and then come back. It will make a lot more sense to you. Okay, now, the Christ Spirit. Now, I'm not the greatest biblical student, so if I make any errors in what I'm saying, please forgive me. But from what I understand about the way the Bible and Christians see the concept of the return of the Christ Spirit, I understand that Jesus said that he would return. And people have been waiting ever since for him to come back. And I can understand that. Now, let's look at it at a moment, because it's a little bit complicated when you think about it, because I've no doubt Jesus could come back if he wanted, because he's very much alive and living in heaven, and he's very much helping us down here, pouring his love down to us all the time. So I'm sure he could come back exactly as he was if he chose. But the thing is, if he did so, would he be born into the body of a baby? Would he suddenly appear as a fully adult man? What country would he be born in? What skin colour would he have? What language would he speak? How would we know that it's the real Jesus? Because all the time there's people coming up that claim to be the Christ Spirit, and they're just people that are slightly touched or joking or whatever, and they turn out not to be the Christ Spirit. So how would we know amongst all these different people that the real Jesus was back amongst us again? It's a very complicated subject, and I don't have the answer to it. But I'll tell you what happened to me. Yes, and why I'm talking to you now. Yesterday I put online a video about the 12 signs of the Zodiac, in which I suggested that a personality was cut, if you like, into 12 different pieces, and each which we call the signs of the Zodiac, which I mention Aries, I'm not very good at all this, excuse me, Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and so on and so on. And that each one of us has 1/12 of that total personality within us. And then I went on to say to you that if we could incorporate all those 12 aspects of the signs of the Zodiac within us, something that happens that we call that is called a gestalt, which means that you get this extra person, this complete person, all these different signs of the Zodiac coming together into one person would create like a new person, the 13th person, as I mentioned in yesterday's video. And this 13th person is the one that I'm going to talk to you about today, because when I talked what I put in that video was the limit, excuse me, excuse me, the limit of the information that I'd been given on that subject. So I stopped. Then I went to bed last night, and in the middle of the night, I was suddenly contacted by my guides, who gave me some more information in what's called lucid dreaming. Now, I'll just quickly say, lots of people contact me and say they want to learn to do lucid dreaming, and as far as I know, you can only do it through doing meditation and stuff, and it came to me naturally, and I lucid dream quite a lot, but usually it's just my brain churning events of the day over and has no value. However, when my guides contact me, it's quite a dramatic event, and they hammer information into me over and over again to make sure I've retained it, and I wake up exhausted in the morning. So this morning, after them bashing stuff into me, I woke up really quite exhausted. However, I'm going to tell you what they told me, okay, because it goes on from what I said about that 13th aspect. Now, so if somebody can incorporate all 12 aspects of the personality into themselves to become a total person, this 13th aspect, this total person will be the Christ Spirit. Okay? Quite a dramatic thing to say. Now, apparently what happens is that each one of us that's only got 1/12 of the total personality within us, we've all nevertheless got something we call an oversoul, which is the Christ Spirit. It's dormant in all of us. Every one of us has this Christ Spirit within us, but it remains in the background, and through prayer, meditation and so on, one can, to a certain extent, contact that Christ Spirit, that which we call the higher self, and it helps us, and it's very useful. However, it never fully takes control, because we don't have the means of handling that much power. But apparently, from what my guides told me last night, if we're in a position to incorporate all 12 strands, all 12 aspects of the signs of the Zodiac into us, we can become this very powerful person, different from what we were before, and we have full access to this Christ Spirit. So we become, in a way, a bit like Jesus. Now, I'm not saying we become copies of Jesus, because we won't. Jesus was a very special man. He had full access to this Christ Spirit, which is why I made a video a little while ago, which I think I called Jesus the Christ or something. There's two things. You've got the man Jesus, and you've got the Christ Spirit. Now, apparently, that Christ Spirit, which we all have within us, can, under those circumstances, come to the full, and we can act more in a Christ-like manner, allowing the Christ Spirit to govern our lives, rather than our own egos and personalities and things. Okay? Now, really, that's about all I wanted to say, because I'll just repeat, for the sake of trying to make it clear, that if anybody could incorporate all 12 aspects of the total of the personality, the total personality, which is divided into 12, if someone could incorporate all those 12 aspects to it, all this Aries, Gemini, Libra and Leo and stuff, then that person would become a different person, and his Christ Spirit would blossom out through him, and he would become Christ-like. Now, when I say Christ-like, I mean he would be in a position to act as Jesus acted. Now, we can all do that, at the moment, I don't know anybody that can do it, and certainly I don't have all 12 aspects. I have enough just with one part of personality in me. So don't look at me. I have no idea how you incorporate all those 12 aspects of the personality within you. I should imagine it can only be done through long years of prayer, meditation, and helping people and so on. But I don't know. I'll try and find out, and if I can find out, I'll tell you. But at the moment, I don't know. But apparently, we all have this potential within us, and if we could do so, let's just imagine for a moment that there were vast numbers of people throughout the world that had access to this Christ spirit and lived in peace, love, and harmony. Wouldn't that be a wonderful world? Okay, if we could all do it, which I suppose is our destiny, really, long years into the future, wouldn't that make a wonderful world? Okay, now, before I stop, did I mention at the beginning? I can't remember now. Oh, yes, I mentioned that I'm going to probably upset a load of Christians, and I'm sorry about that. I was told to tell you this, and I've told you. Now, you won't be able to accept this information if you haven't got a pigeonhole made to store that information in, and I've talked about that in another video. So you'll find that you'll be acting in one of three ways. You'll either listen to what I've said, think it total rubbish and just forget about it, or you'll say, yeah, this kind of rings a bell for me, or yeah, I can accept it for the sake of argument. Or you'll be totally scandalized that I could suggest such a thing and think I should be burnt at the stake as a wizard or something, that you're going to fall into one of those. Now, for those who can accept this, I thank you. Think it over, see if it makes sense to you. For those who can't accept it, don't worry about it, because I don't say this to try and upset you or alienate you in any way, shape or form. I am told to tell you certain things, and I tell you, and I've told you this. And if I've helped you, okay. If I've scandalized you, I'm sorry, but that's life. Okay, thank you for listening to me, and I'll speak to you again another day on another subject. Bye.